everyone else was so devastated by this week's elimination that they decided to boycott this episode. And unfortunately, Eduardo and I are the only ones that decided to be here today. So,
Fully. I mean, this has been a long time coming. I love my girl. But we all knew this was happening. Yeah.
Anyway, hi. Hello, howdy, y'all. That's my best American today.
Lord have mercy.
Welcome to The Cup, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality, and you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I'm Logan Eduardo, say something gay. I am currently drinking a cucumber mint energy drink. Shout out to Ardor Energy, not sponsored, but God, I wish I was. But if I was drinking out of something else, it could potentially be a cup mug. It could be a cup mug for you too. And you could get your cup mug and all of our other merch at lanagcreations.etsy.com. That link is in the description below, and we do ship domestically within the United States and internationally, so there are no excuses. Unless your country is currently on fire, under fire, or underwater, then there are some excuses.
Absolutely, yes. And ciao, I am Eduardo, the Mexican representative of this podcast. I'm here to talk shit and get hit. I've drank my coffee, I've drank my water. I am just sitting here tired of this season, truly. It's almost done.
2 more episodes.
2 more episodes, thank God.
And next week should be fun. So
yeah, next week should be fun, and the finale should be fun. Hopefully. It depends. It really depends on who wins. Because I think I would be okay with most of these queens winning, but I think I would leave this season with a bad taste in my mouth if 2 of these queens won. Well, if 3 of these queens won, honestly. I would be kind of not super happy, but before we get into that, we need to talk about this episode.
We sure do. And before we talk about this episode, make sure to subscribe if you've not already, because we're here almost all the time giving you almost all things drag. Make sure to check out the description below where you can find all of our audio podcast links, our other YouTube channels, and our Patreon for exclusive content and early access. So, we come back in, and I'm so beyond pissed that I missed last week's episode.
Lord.
Because not only did I miss my icon Vanity Vane getting eliminated, but I missed talking about Diane Brill.
Yeah, you really missed out.
The whole damn season, I've been like, where's Diane Brill? Where's Diane Brill? Where's Diane? And the one fucking week that she's on is the one week that I had to be on vacation.
Unfortunately,
so
true.
Sorry about that. But I loved Diane dearly. She's just, bring back Drag Race Germany, please. Simply for Diane Brill.
Please.
And Barbie Breakout. But yes, Vanity is gone. Everyone is congratulating Kitty. And this is quite literally her first time in the bottom, too.
Yeah, it is. Surprisingly.
And she should have gone home.
I mean, we talked about it last time. She definitely lost that lip sync.
Oh. Hard.
Yeah. I don't know. We don't need to talk about it. We don't need to. Because if we do...
Favoritism.
Don't get me started. Anyway. Don't get me started. Because I'm already going to have a whole conversation on that at the very end of this. So, like, we're
Good.
Lord.
Well, yes, we come in, they're doing their thing, and whatever. No one really congratulates Nelly on her win, even though they should have, because they're all dumb bitches.
I mean, I will say I am glad that Queen did apologize to Nelania.
I was happy to see that.
I was happy. I know that Queen has been, like, showing some odd behavior, like some not great behavior throughout this competition. Mm-hmm. And I think it's just a simple fact that she has, like, she really wants to win and she's getting in her head and, like, being a little mean because of that. So I'm glad that she was able to apologize. But yeah, I don't know why all the girls, even Tessa, is not really thinking that Nelly's a threat, and I'm really confused as to why. Because so far, Nelly has been like super
Slade.
consistent, has done really well, and I
Hmm.
think I'm not the only one to say that I think she deserves more wins than she got. I would have
Oh
given
yeah.
her like 3 wins at this point. So I'm just shocked as to why people keep thinking that Nelly is weak. Because truly, I
I
think
don't get it.
she is one of the stronger ones that are still in the competition. So I'm confused.
I don't get it, honestly. I think it's just because she's from a smaller franchise. I gotta be honest. I think that's all it is.
I guess so. Yeah.
But yeah, so they come in the workroom the next day. Um, Nelly is about to say something, and the alarm goes off, and Queen says another. At this point, not even shady comment, just a rude comment, being like, "Thank God," because what she was gonna say was gonna be annoying
Lord.
or boring or whatever. And I'm just like, baby.
I mean, at this point, it's. I think it's very clear that like a lot of this is supposed to be in jest, but it's not. It's clearly
It's not
not.
coming off that way.
Yeah. So uh, I will really get into it, as I said, once we are done with the episode,
Mm-hmm.
because I have my thoughts on it. But
Mm-hmm.
truly, like this season has just really painted Queen in a bad way, which is kind of unfortunate.
Yeah. But we find out that for this week's Maxi Challenge, when RuPaul comes in, we are doing Global Tourism Branding Challenge Eleganza Extravaganza. Sure.
The house down boots.
And the moment I heard that this was this week's challenge, I said, cool, Alyssa's winning.
Yeah, the moment this was happening, I was like, okay, so we're either giving Kitty or Alyssa this win. Absolutely. And I was immediately like, okay, Tessa's going home. Immediately.
Yeah, I kind of got a similar
Yeah,
vibe.
I for a second thought that they were probably going to give it to Kitty, and we will get to it once we get to it because
Mm-hmm.
of last episode. But
Mm-hmm.
I did get scared, but I immediately wrote down like, yeah, okay, so the quote unquote funny girls are going to do well this episode. Okay, we can move on.
Yeah. Yeah. So they are preparing for their situations. Whatever.
Yeah, I
They
mean
film
the
their stuff with the one funny part for me that Kitty had was going into the filming, and she goes, and it's time to film with Mr. Michelle Visage.
I mean, I will say I like the way that some of these queens approached this, but I think a lot of the queens knew what works for RuPaul. A lot of the queens really
Yes.
knew what RuPaul was looking for and the kind of humor that RuPaul has, and so they really leaned
Mm-hmm.
into it. So like people like Nelly and Kitty really went on to like what I think RuPaul will obviously enjoy. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, when I saw it, I was not shocked. I was not surprised at all.
No.
So yeah, not much to say. Apparently, Queen had like a giant script, and
Yeah.
you could tell, that it was a lot. It was a lot going on.
Yep.
Even in filming, it was a lot. So yeah, and also Tessa, what's going on? We need to. What's going on? What is
What
going
can
on?
we?
I
Yeah, we
love
got
my
to
girl
talk about.
Tessa. You,
She is my queen. She is my everything. She is my reason for living. Sometimes, but baby,
what's going on? What's going on? I
why are we
understand.
wearing the cow?
Yeah, no, I don't understand like, I just knew that they were gonna bring up the fact that we've seen it before. I knew the fact that that was gonna happen, and then to me it wasn't confusing the reason as to why Tessa chose to do Switzerland, but apparently everyone else was confused. Everyone was confused, and I was confused as to why they were confused. For me, it was very obvious. Like, of course, Tessa's gonna.
She lives in Switzerland. She is Swiss. Why would we make her do Germany when she doesn't live there?
Yeah, like
She's not from there. She doesn't live there. Just because it's the franchise of Drag Race that she is from does not mean inherently that she should be representing Germany.
Yeah.
Now, should she have probably done Germany? Yeah.
Yeah, and like,
but
I think Rue really mentioned it. The way that I could have gone about it was just really making up facts about Germany and being like, I really don't know what I'm saying. I really am confused. Am I in Germany?
I kind of wish she had taken. Yeah, I kind of wish she had taken that route.
Yeah, it would have been funny, but I also understood where she was coming from with it when she was doing it. But at the same time, there were a lot of puns, which can work, but it's tough. It's tough because sometimes it gets monotonous once that's the entire thing that you're doing, and so I got worried immediately.
Yeah. And when she was in rehearsal with Michelle was really responding positively to a lot of what she was saying.
Yes.
And so I felt a little confident, and then I lost my confidence very quickly.
I mean, the thing is that, like, Michelle was being positive to everyone in this episode. Everyone brought something interesting and something funny. So, like, even Tessa, who was a little bit more, like, a little cringy in some moments, she still had some funny moments, and she was definitely doing something interesting. But just as I said, puns can get monotonous if that's the whole thing that you're doing. So it's really tough to really keep it going when it comes to puns.
Yeah. And then we go to the next day in the workroom, and there's like a really heartfelt moment talking about drag family and all that kind of stuff. And we hear Nelly talking about her drag family, and there's just her and a lot of sisters, of which I believe a lot of her sisters have also competed on Drag Race Italia with her and on other seasons. So I love that.
Yes.
Alyssa's talking about, she wouldn't be anything if she would not be where she was today if it wasn't for her drag mothers, and talks about growing up in the South, which I understand to an extent. I grew up in Arizona, so I don't really know, the full extent of that. And then start talking about biological children, and Queen talks about really wanting like a lot of biological children, and having a big family, because that's very what the fuck is the word I'm trying to think of?
I really don't know. Traditional?
Reminiscent, I guess, is the word I was thinking of, but it's very common within Pacifica families to be very large with a lot of kids. Yes. Alyssa talks about how her and her partner have talked about it. And Alyssa saying that she might be like mommy dearest. And I agree.
Yeah, she absolutely would be. She would be terrifying.
100%.
Like, yeah, I would be afraid to be Alyssa's, like,
biological child.
Yeah, that would be terrifying, truly.
And the way that she was like, well, Steve, her partner, who is pretty cute, by the way. They're adorable together. There's not much of him on her socials, but he's cute. But she was like, what if Steve, or she said Steve was like, well, what if they don't want to do dance? And I was genuinely confused. Like, this is the Alyssa that I love. And I'm like, okay, cool.
This is what
like,
I was going to say with this moment. It felt like we finally got the real Kitty, the real Queen, the real Alyssa. We finally got to, like, experience them at who we, like, remember them being. Like, I remember Queen, like, Kitty being this funny and being, like, this kind of shady, but still having a lot of fun with it. And, like, Alyssa being, like, just this wild personality. And it felt like truly the only moment where we've gotten to really see them back to who we know they are. And, like, this was, like, really one of the only moments where I was like, I felt actual joy in this show. Like, even when, like, Nelly was talking about a lot of the troubles that come with being queer in Italy, and also this was one of the only moments where we've seen Nelly be really vulnerable and talk about, like, her
very vulnerable
as, like, a queer person in Italy, because as, like, I think you and I know a little bit because of how we're fans of Eurovision, and we know, like, the queer scene that happens there, and how, like, there's a lot of, like, conservative people and, like, a lot of, like, what's going on there, and it's really great to get to hear it and get to hear the points of view from it. But it truly felt like one of the only moments of joy that I've been able to get for a while now in this season. So I was just glad to have it. I was just glad to have this conversation and glad to really get to see, like, the other queens in a better light, because so far we have really been getting, like, their worst moments, which is really unfortunate. So now we're finally getting to see some real, like, sisterhood happening. And so I'm glad that we got this. I'm really, really glad that we got this.
Yeah. And we also got a moment with Tessa talking about one of her friends raising a child who loves playing with dolls, and, like, her mom being, like, both of them being super supportive of her drag, and just, like, seeing that, like, oh, this mother can be so open-minded and could be potentially raising, like, one of us. And it's such, I love hearing these stories, especially on the international seasons, because, you know, queer people are treated differently around the world, and it's nice to know that there are still good people. You know what I mean? They're still good people.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, but yeah, this was, like, a very, very heartfelt situation, and I was just like, "Ooh, okay, we're getting heartfelt messages today. Cool." Let's just go to the runway.
Yeah.
And T.S. Madison is finally here.
Finally, about them. Not the boar worms. Anyways.
Not the boar worms. I was so happy to see her on my TV.
Absolutely. What I was not happy to see on my TV was whatever the fuck this wig is that RuPaul is wearing. What is going on?
Oh, are you not obsessed?
No, I am confused. What is going on at the top of her head? What is this?
I'm obsessed.
What's going on?
I am obsessed.
I dare I say it. I hate it. I despise it. Take it off immediately.
Wow.
Please. What is this wig?
I'm so.
What is this wig?
Oh, I'm so obsessed with it because it's so different.
It's different, but I don't like it. I do not. This is not it for me. This just, everything about this is a miss for me. It's just not. It's
interesting. Not. See, I'm pretty sure they were told, hey, we need to do this Star Trek sponsorship that's going to dominate the entire episode and overshadow everything else. So we need you to look like you're a Star Trek alien. And I'm, like, low-key obsessed with this look, honestly.
It's giving mushroom. It's giving mushroom. It's giving... Yeah, no.
It's giving muffin.
Yeah, it's giving
I'm not mad at
dumb.
it.
If you know, you know.
Well, yes. But can we talk about Michelle and how good Michelle looks?
Damn, this
Uh,
outfit.
Michelle and
Yeah.
Maddie, for that matter. Like, they
Oh,
both look so
absolutely.
good.
No, but this, I will always love a mint color. I will always love like a
Oh,
mint.
yeah.
It's one of my favorite colors. Definitely my favorite shade of green. And
Hmm.
like Michelle wearing a green, wild. But like, yeah,
I
this
know.
she looks wonderful. I love it. I love
I
it.
love it. I
And
love it.
Jamal is there.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Jamal looks good.
Yes,
Jamal looks good. Jamal looks lovely. Jamal looks great. Jamal looks wonderful. So,
absolutely.
let's talk about our 5 advertisements here, starting with Kitty.
I think Kitty did a pretty good job. I she did good. She did good. I really like the way that she took it. Like she really just took the piss out of like all of the stereotypes that come with being British, and I think
Uh-huh.
that's a really smart way to do it, and it's a really smart way to go about this. And yeah, I think Kitty really like Kitty's always most of the time she's funny. I thought she was really funny. I think really going into like the facts and mash and like the pig in my hole and all of that was really
Yeah.
smart to do. I thought that was like really smart. I just think just really making fun of yourself and like the stereotypes
Hmm.
that come with like your country can be really smart. And I think Kitty, and we will get to someone else that I also think did it really well, but I think Kitty did a really good job with this.
Yeah, I was very pleasantly surprised with Kitty in this challenge. I mean, this is her kind of challenge. I knew she would do
Mm-hmm.
well. My favorite part is when she said, care for a bev after work. Good to know. Thursday is the new Friday, and so is Tuesday.
Absolutely.
I loved it.
Absolutely.
I loved
Just
it. It
the
was
woman shit
so
face
good.
just lying down on the.
Oh my god.
That was
And then
wild.
getting lost on the tram for a while, going in
Honestly,
circles.
yeah, that would be me. That would be me.
Oh, that would be me for sure. Like,
I can
I
barely
don't know
do the one in
where.
Mexico City. I
Oh,
can
there's the
barely,
exit.
I can barely handle the one in Mexico City. I, it's Lord knows I wouldn't be able to do it. But yeah, that
Hmm.
would be me. I don't know where I am. I don't know. Oh, this is my exit. Okay,
Yeah.
that would be me.
Let's talk about Queen.
Okay, so I like this idea. I
Yes.
like the idea. There was something there, and there were funny moments here and there, like
Yeah.
the chlamydia moment with the koala was really funny.
Yeah.
Um, I appreciate the references to people like Hanaconda and Spanky
Honda,
Jackson.
Spanky Jackson, her sisters. Yeah, absolutely.
I think they're great, but I just think there was a lot going on, and like she had a lot of ideas that weren't really refined, and they just I feel like it just had it just needed a little bit more refinement. And I
Hmm.
agree with what the judges said. I wish it was more focused on her rather than on her sisters, because like
Hmm.
I think I got more jokes about Drag Race Down Under than actual Down Under jokes,
Yeah.
which like is a way to go about it, which can work. But I just think that in this moment when you're in a top 5 and everyone's doing so great, it's kind of tough. So I just think the ideas need to be like
Yeah.
really like shortened, or like there was some work that needed to be done. It wasn't really polished, and it wasn't really like really there. Like there it was funny, but it wasn't the funniest. So there was just a disconnect with some of the jokes.
I think Queen, I will say this. I think Queen had an interesting challenge and had a bit of, there was a bit of a disadvantage there because she technically had to cover 2 countries.
I guess so, yeah.
Because she had to cover both Australia and Aotearoa in her
Mhm.
advertisement. And so trying to blend all of these things together, I think if she had just taken out the parts about Hannah and Spanky,
It would
I
work.
honestly think the rest of the advertisement is pretty solid.
Yeah.
Like, the chlamydia joke was good. The fighting back the giant ducks was cute. Throwing in Mardi Gras at the end because gay, sure. Like,
Yeah.
I think if she had just talked more about, or done more jokes about herself, I think it would have been better.
Yeah.
But no one did bad.
No one did bad.
I think this might have been my least favorite just because of how jumbled it was. Oh, God.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
I didn't mean to click that button. Nope.
Yeah.
Moving on.
We're back.
Yeah, Queen might have been my least favorite just because of how jumbled it was, but like it still wasn't bad overall.
I mean, I think someone else did worse. And we will
It's
get to
Tessa, isn't it?
Yes, it's Tessa.
Let's talk about Miss Testicle here.
Okay. So I love Tessa and I think she is really funny. However, I think the way that she went about this was not the best way to go about it. Because I think there was a lot of reliance on puns and of like very simple humor, which can work. And I think when it's done strategically and it's done sparsely, it can work really well. I just think that a lot of the jokes just felt half baked, like that they were just almost there, but like I don't know. I think the way that they were like told was not the most efficient way to go about it. I think there were a lot of puns, and as I said before, I think puns can get monotonous, and so it's as Jamal said, it got one note at the very end, which was unfortunate because I think it was funny, and I really like the idea of having like a narrator with this very deep voice, and I found that funny. It just got monotonous at the end, where it got predictable with not only just the puns, but also the fact that like we were doing a lot of jokes of like money and evading taxes and tax evasion, which I think can be funny and I think can work really well. I just think that, as I said, it was a lot of them, and they started to get predictable, which was unfortunate. So yeah.
Yeah. I think the only thing that would put Tessa above Queen for me in this challenge is just the fact that Tessa's was more organized. Did she talk about tax evasion and hiding her money like 6 times? Yeah.
Yes.
Did she talk about milk and chocolate and dairy and cheese? Yes. The puns were good though. Like getting effed in the Alps, doing it in the derriere, like that was funny. There was a foundation of really good funny there. I just think she needed to flesh out some of these jokes a little bit. And I think if she had just done like tax evasion in one part of it, and then did like the dairy in one part of it, and then did the Matterhorn in one part of it, if she had segmented things and made things a little bit clearer and had a bit more clarity of concept, I think it would have been a very successful advertisement. But there was more of a clear concept there than Queen's for me.
I mean, yeah, but when it comes to at the end of the day, this is like a comedy challenge, and I found more things funny in Queens rather than Tessa's, because yes, the puns were funny, but as I said, it came to a point where I found them monotonous and like one note, and
That's
like
fair.
where it, like as I said, puns can work, but I think there were just too many of them in this situation, and so I just wanted more fleshed out jokes rather than just, oh, look at me, I'm a cow.
Yeah. I get that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Alyssa's.
Okay, so I think Alyssa had the most different approach out of all of them. She was the most unique, and I think that made her stand out quite a bit in a positive way because she was still able to create this very chaotic energy that she likes to do when she does branding challenges. We saw it in the Drop Dead Gorgeous,
That's exactly what I was gonna bring up.
and I think she channeled that energy, and I think that was a very smart way to do it, and just it was so different than everyone else's. Then I think it just stood out in a really positive way, and this is what I think I would have wanted to do if I was doing this challenge. So
Hmm.
for me, it really worked. Uh, I don't think there like it was super funny. There were a lot of jokes, and I think it was funny, but I don't know if it was the one that I laughed at the most. But I think it was the most successful one.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it was definitely the most successful one. Um, for me, I really like the approach that Alyssa took, but
Mhm.
it really, as soon as she was like, in 60 seconds, let's go, and ran off the stage, I was like, oh, we're literally getting her All Stars to the Go Go Juice. It
Yes.
felt very Go Go Juice, but I wasn't mad at that because of how she approached things. I do like that she brought up politics, but in a very funny way. Like there
Yeah.
was a levity to that conversation that I really liked. um I enjoyed her talking about, the barbecue, the rodeo, like obviously bringing it to Texas. I really liked.
Yeah.
Adding in the part about New York, I think was really good. It was the most clear concept,
Yes.
and I think that's ultimately what won her the challenge.
I agree. I agree.
And then I love in the judging when TS Madison goes, okay, can
Oh.
you and I just have a real quick conversation here? And you understood everything I said, right?
Absolutely. Yes, I did.
I lived. God, I
That
love
was
T.S. Madison
hilarious.
so much. I need T.S. Madison on every Drag Race franchise.
Oh,
I need
absolutely.
T.S. Madison on every Drag Race franchise,
Yeah.
please.
Please. I can we replace the hilarious Ross Matthews with T.S. Madison? Can we replace Carson with T.S.? Can we just have T.S.
I mean, I
Madison?
think I think we're on the way to doing that. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
I'm hoping. I'm praying because, I think Carson is great sometimes. I think T.S. Madison just is such a great personality
Yeah.
that outshines everyone all the time. But yeah, we're not here to talk about her though. We're not here to talk about her. We need to talk about Nelly's. We need to talk about Nelly's.
Oh, let's please let's talk about Nelly.
As I said, I think there were two people that really took the piss out of like the stereotypes of like their countries, and I think Nelly was the other one that did a really good job of it. I thought it was so stupid and so funny. I think really like leaning into like, oh, I am just straight up gonna be Mario
Yeah,
for this was
I loved
really
it.
funny. It was so funny. It really worked for me. It was a little chaotic, which is why I think I would still give it to Alyssa because like I think the concept was there, but it was a little bit chaotic. But Nelly's I think was the funniest to me. I think I laughed the most at Nelly's. It was a lot. There was a lot happening, but all of it worked and all of it was really funny. And I think I was scared for a moment because like we saw her struggle a little bit with her accent and how she was speaking and like her not being able to say some words perfectly. But I'm glad that she used that to her advantage to make a lot of like the bits that she had on her like ad to make them funnier. I think it's really smart to do it, and I think she just really approached this in a really fun way, and I think it worked.
Mhm.
I think it was one of the best ones.
Yeah, for me, the top two would have been Alyssa and Millennia for sure. I'm going back and forth honestly on Alyssa versus Millennia because I do think Millennia did really good. I think the main reason she didn't win is because she directly called out the pizza stereotype that RuPaul's been laughing about for the whole goddamn season. And I really appreciate that she didn't do margarita pizza. I was so happy about it, but I thought everything she did was so smart. You know, honestly, the more that I'm thinking about it, I might have given Nelly the win. Honestly.
But also the look. Also the look. When we will get to it and look over here, but
we'll talk about it. But yeah, I love that she was like, Nona asks, do you have a girlfriend? Nona, I am the girlfriend.
fully.
Like that was funny. You might think that we're obsessed with sex, and you're right.
And we are. We are. Yeah.
It was so good. All of the food. Oh, and then the pineapple on pizza joke killed me. It was so well thought out. It was so well constructed. I thought Nelly did a gorgeous job with this challenge, for sure.
Absolutely, yeah.
For sure. But, well, we get our critiques. Yes. I didn't have anything else to talk about specifically with the critique, but...
I didn't either, really.
T.S. Madison was a gorgeous breath of fresh air on this franchise.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say, though, now that we are at the very end of, like, the season, I wish we got more international, like, judges. I feel like we didn't get many. We got, like, 4?
We got Adriana Lima.
Uh-huh. We got
Donna. And technically speaking, Diane Brill.
Yeah, and that's about
Even though she lives in the U.S.
Yeah, and we got a few, like, British.
Like, we got Alan and Graham.
Yeah.
But that was it.
Yeah, and we got the Javis.
And we got the Javis. Yeah. There was a preseason rumor that Khaled Karen was going to be a guest judge. Or I guess now the artist formerly known as Khaled Karen.
I doesn't not go by that name anymore.
Well, that's her stage name.
Oh, okay.
But I think I read some of our comments on DragRace on our DragRace Philippines reviews. Thank you for that, by the way, y'all. That she is slowly shifting towards using her legal name, which is Jervy Wrightson. So for the time being, I'm going to continue to call her Khaled Karen. But until she wants to be called otherwise, I support her in whatever she wants to be called. But there was a preseason rumor that she was going to be on the panel. I heard that Drag Queen was maybe going to be on the panel, and I would have liked all that.
Yeah, I think we just needed more overall, like more non-English speakers.
Yeah,
100%. I feel like we didn't get a lot of them. We got a lot of U.S. ones. We got a lot of British ones. And I feel like we didn't really get to see a lot of the culture from other countries. Like, we didn't get anyone from Italy. We didn't get anyone from, like, the Philippines. And I feel like there's a lot of, like, missed out, like, potential with, like, the judges. And hopefully, if and when we get a season 2, we get more.
Yeah.
So that's definitely one of the things. But I am glad to have T.S. Madison. I wish she was, like, the one U.S. guest judge that we got.
Or maybe one of Carson and Ross. I didn't need both of them.
Yeah, I didn't need both of them. I
didn't need both of them.
I was happy with Carson. As you can tell, I am more of a fan of Carson than I am of Ross. I didn't need Ross. I didn't need to see Ross.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess.
Yeah. We go to Untucked, and really the only thing is Queen is really disappointed.
Yeah. Queen is, like, on her, like, this is the last time, like, that someone has to lip sync. And Queen clearly knows that she's going to be one of them. And she's kind of disappointed because she's it's about to be the final. And she's pretty upset that she has to lip sync. But other than that, everyone's just being really positive of each other. Everyone's just bringing each other up, which is, like, a nice change of pace from last week. Last week was a lot. And it was super negative. So I think this week just all like throughout the entire episode just being a lot nicer. I think it was the correct approach, and I was glad to see it. I was glad that the girls finally gave Tessa her flowers and told her like,
thank you,
girl,
Jesus. I have been waiting this whole goddamn season.
fully,
And
like,
I'm so happy. And then remembering that Tessa literally went to Global All-Stars months after she filmed
yeah. And so
season 1. Season 1 of Germany, I don't even think had come out.
yeah, I don't think
And she went to Global All-Stars. And it was, I'm so beyond fucking thrilled
Mhm.
that they finally gave her that like, no, girl, you did the damn thing.
Yeah.
And to hear Tessa talk about how much, like, how proud she is of everything that's going on,
Yeah.
and how proud she is of herself, like,
It
I
was
was so
great.
happy about it. And we get Alyssa getting an emotional moment,
Yeah,
as well. She was like, it's 12 years in the making. I wanted to show them that I can take notes and I can take critique. And, you know, she gets a little emotional, and it was
It was a nice moment. Yeah, like Alyssa is finally getting her moment
Yeah.
in the finale. Like she finally
And
made
then
it.
Nalenia has her moment too, and I'm just like, ah!
Yeah, that's why
Like,
this is what I mean. Like, I'm glad that like both Tessa and Nelly are finally getting their flowers, which they haven't been getting throughout this entire season. Like, both of them have been underestimated this entire competition, and right here, right at the end, where like the power is off their hands. There's nothing else that they can do. Rather, like Tessa just has to lip sync. That's basically it. They're finally getting their flowers. Like Tessa's finally getting that like moment of like, I've been doing this like basically for half a year, back to back to back. Like I haven't had like I had 4 months of rest basically, and even then like that's not a lot to come to like prepare for Global All Stars. And Alyssa's getting her moment of finally I'm reaching the finale. It was just nice. It was just nice to finally have everyone give each other their flowers and give each other like this moment of joy in like of like sisterhood that we haven't really been getting throughout this competition.
we've gotten basically none of this season, but I was so happy to finally get it. So
yeah,
I'll take it. I'll take it.
it.
Even with all of the, you know, the bullshit that's still going on between all these girls, I'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take it. But we go back to the stage and we find out that this week's winner is Alyssa Edwards. And to think that Alyssa literally only won the first and last challenge of the season. That's kind of wild.
Yeah, it's insane, truly. But
it's deserved. Given challenge performance and runway, it's a deserved win. I am very happy for Alyssa. Yes. I do love Alyssa. I really do. And I'm just like, the fact that we got Alyssa on our screens, for me at least, I got Alyssa on my screens twice this year. That's a blessing in itself. Yeah, she wasn't all that great on the GOAT. Let me be real honest and genuine. I don't know that I love Justin on TV.
That's what
I don't know that I love, especially because he was coming for my girl Davon Rogers. Period. Point blank.
Don't
stop
come for my
the
girl
conversation.
Do not come.
But
for my girl.
But I think Alyssa's win, especially given runway, I think was very, very well deserved.
Yeah, I agree. I'm very happy to see Alyssa get another win. I thought for a moment that I wanted Nelly to win it because I think she deserves more wins that she has gotten. But at the end of the day, in this challenge, I do think Alyssa did do a little better. So I agree with this winner.
And regardless, Nelly and Kitty are both called safe. Yes. We officially have a bottom two of Tessa and Queen. And that does mean that Nalenia has broken a record.
Yes.
And she is the only queen to go 2 full seasons of Drag Race without placing below safe.
I mean, iconic behavior. Iconic behavior.
Iconic. And you know what? She's gonna I'm gonna give it to her. Deserved. I love it. I'm so happy for Nelly. So beyond happy for Nelly. And because Kitty was in the bottom last week, it's not also her. But
I mean, yeah.
We get a lip sync.
Yes.
We get a lip sync between Queen and Tessa. They're lip syncing to Don't Leave Me This Way by Thelma Houston, an iconic Drag Race song for all of the wrong reasons. And I'm happy to say that this lip sync was much better than the first time we saw it.
It was a redemption, absolutely. Yes, it was.
I want to say we've had this song another time, and I don't remember when.
If we did, it was not memorable in the slightest. But I think this was the second time that we've gotten this song, and when I heard this song, I was really happy because like when you hear the song, you immediately think of "Get Her Off of Me." Drag is not a contact sport.
We did get it. Get it. This is the third time we've had it. Yep.
When was the second time?
I knew it. Drag Race Holland.
Well, you know,
I knew it was one of the smaller franchises, and I couldn't remember which one it was. Yeah, it was Ivy Elise versus Reggie B.
Oh, it was
on
one of
Drag
the
Race
many
Holland.
Ivy lip syncs. Okay.
It was the first. No, the second lip sync of the season.
Yeah, I was gonna say the
yeah, because
first
they
one
did
was
because Ivy Elise did Don't Leave Me This Way, and then the literal next week was I believe it was All Coming Back to Me Now.
Yes, it was.
But yes, okay, great. Yeah, I was like, I'm not crazy. And I don't remember that lip sync. So the one I'm gonna remember is this lip sync, because I actually thought both of these girls gave the exact energy I wanted for the song. They both still had their stunts. I was like, ooh, they put these two girls in the bottom. I was hoping it would be a good song. I wish it was a better song. I'll say that much. I wish it was a better song. Because these are the two like lip sync assassins of this season coming into the season. I would say it was these two and it was Gala were the three girls that I knew for being lip sync assassins from their first seasons.
Yes.
Obviously, this season the lip sync assassin was Vanity Vane, period, point blank, end of period. But well, actually, we'll find out who the lip sync assassin is next week. But I really did enjoy this lip sync. For me,
Mm-hmm.
For me and me alone.
Yeah.
I'm going to put my bias aside. I did still enjoy what Tessa did more than what Queen did.
It's tough. It's tough for me because...
It is tough, yeah.
Because they both did pretty well. It was not like a super memorable lip sync. It was, I think for both of them, a pretty middle of the road lip sync. I think we've seen both of them do better. But when it comes to this specific one, I don't know. I think it. I mean, Tessa did break one of those unspoken rules of lip syncing, which is like you're not really supposed to like block your part like your opponent, like even if like I think that's a low blow all of the time.
But the way she did it, I wasn't mad at it.
I did not like it personally.
Okay.
I personally never enjoy when a girl is blocking another girl. It feels very cheap. It feels very very desperate for me. And for me, that's the only thing that I didn't like about Tessa's lip sync. When everything else I enjoyed everything else about Queen's lip sync as well. It's just like that one rule for me. If you block your opponent, you're like immediately, it's really hard for you to come back and win it. Like what immediately comes to mind is like when Betty was blocking Jasmine Kennedy in that one lip sync to Respect. And although like Diet was doing better, the moment that she was blocking like Jasmine, I it really bothered me and I did not like it. Same thing here. It feels very cheap and it's just something that I don't think you're supposed to do. I get it. I understand why girls choose to do it. It's just for me, like specifically for Tessa as well. You are a good lip syncer. You don't need to like fall back on like blocking your opponent because you are charismatic enough and you have the stage presence to like really pull the attention away from Queen no matter what. So yeah, it's just I think that's the only thing for me like that I didn't really enjoy. So that's why I would still give it to Queen, but like it's so close that like I understand why people would give it to Tessa in this moment as well. I get it. It's fine. It's fair. It wasn't super like it wasn't a blowout. It was pretty close. I get it. So yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, what it comes down to is the stunts, because both of the actual lip syncing that they did, I would say they were even, honestly.
Yeah.
For me, what I would have leaned a little bit towards Tessa was just simply the fact that I think her stunts were timed better. For some reason, a lot of
I
Queen's
don't know.
stunts felt very mistimed. And there was a moment where she kind of just like stopped moving and she was kind of shuffling in front. And it was very like, it felt very awkward to me.
Mhm.
And I think all of Tessa, not all, I would say most of Tessa's stunts were timed at a really good moment in the song. There was a level of musicality that I think Tessa had over Queen for me, and
Mhm.
that's what would have brought her over. Unfortunately, though, I don't think she did anything to eclipse Queen's track record,
That's also
and
true. That's
and
also true.
unfortunately, I think that is think and Tessa get eliminated from
I
Drag
mean,
Race.
yeah. Unfortunate. It's truly unfortunate, but I truly think that Tessa is living this competition as a winner because like
Oh yeah,
when this season started, a lot of people were already counting her out. A lot of people were just
yep,
like, "What is Tessa doing here?" There were better options for like this like season for
hmm
Germany, and people were confused. People didn't get it, and I
yeah,
think Tessa now leaves as one of the fan favorites. Tessa leaves with a lot of love and a lot of people like really supporting her and getting behind her, and I truly think that like taking everything into account, the fact that like she was one of the only queens that didn't make it to the finale. She was one of the only queens that like didn't really have time to prepare like as well as
yeah,
other girls had to. She had 4 months. We got told
yeah,
this, and so we she was under a lot of pressure, and
yeah,
the fact that she was able to make it to top 5 like is already a huge accomplishment, and I think Tessa leaves the season better than she started off with, and so I'm
yeah.
really proud of Tessa. I think Tessa did an amazing job, and I think Tessa leaves as one of like the biggest winners of the season so far. So like she may have not won the actual season, but she
Yeah.
left with like a lot of opportunities, which like I'm super glad
Yeah.
to see that Tessa got.
I'm gonna try not to cry because y'all know this is my girl. This is I'm very, very happy to say Tessa is one of my really good friends. I had a feeling this moment would come, and I just am so beyond fucking proud of her for everything she did this season, for the way that she was able, and she said it in her exit line, she was able to reintroduce herself to the world in a truly remarkable way. I'm so happy that she got the validation that she needed from this experience. She got validation from the other girls in this episode. She got validation from Rue last episode, and that moment was beyond incredible. I am so happy that the world got to see the Tessa that I know and the Tessa that I cherish, because she didn't get to show that on Germany. And for her to go from fifth out to fifth place on a global platform No one is ever going to be able to take that away from her. And I'm so proud of everything she did this season. Truly, she is one of my favorite queens to ever come from Drag Race, and she is one of my favorite people that I am so happy to know. So, love you, you dumb bitch.
Love you, Tessa.
And the fact that she went out, and I don't know, because you didn't watch Germany, did you?
No, I did not.
She got eliminated this episode in the same fucking outfit she got eliminated in on Germany.
That's iconic.
Bitch, why did you put that on? Tessa, you should know better. Unless she did it for the bit. And in that case, I'm here for it.
Maybe she knew that it was happening. And she was like,
I feel like she knew what was happening. Yeah, I feel like she knew what was happening.
On this episode of Ask Tessa.
Honestly, I should. I probably should.
Yeah.
But no, I love her. I get to talk to her on Monday, so I'm super excited about that. But and I'm hoping that we will be able to get her on the pod at some point for something. So let's hope and pray that we will get to see Miss Testicle on this program. And I love you, bitch.
Love you, Tessa.
But let's talk about our draft really quick. Amongst the people active in this. Yeah, I know. Amongst the people active on this program, Eduardo, you're in 5th.
Wow, shocking.
Well, technically 3rd, actually. I'll put you 3rd. Yeah. River is in 2nd, and I'm currently leading.
Wow, shocking. This is shocking. I'm shocked. This is so shocking. I have never been so shocked in my life. I am so shocked.
Anyway. Next week, I am, you know what? My excitement level for Global All-Stars, back up. We are back. I am sat. It is a lip-sync Lollapalooza between all 8 of our eliminated queens for the title of Global Lip-Sync Assassin and $50,000. Period. Girl, I am so happy that if they're going to shaft all of these girls this way, that they are going to give them an opportunity to get some coin. And I love it. I love it.
I also really like that since all of these queens are international, they get like a shit ton of money. Like, if Eva were to win this, she would take home like 2 million. Like, of like,
Is it really?
Yeah, I checked it, and she would take home 2 million pesos, I think. Like,
oh my god.
It's absolute insanity. A lot of girls would take like hundreds of thousands of like their monies. And even like Pythia, which like it's the closest one, I think, to the actual American dollar, she would still take like $68,000.
I think it's the euro is actually the closest.
Oh, that might
the euro they would get 45,000.
Oh, okay.
Let's see, the Canadian dollar. Actually, oh no, the Canadian dollar. Pythia would get 68,000.
Yeah. You see, I'm telling you.
What would Tessa get?
Tessa would get.
I will be rooting for Miss Tessa Testicle in this. I'm just going to say that right now. I'm going to be rooting for Tessa. I'm going to be rooting for Eva. I'm going to be rooting for Gala. I'm going to be rooting for Vanity. I'm going to be rooting for Soa. I'm going to be rooting for Miranda. I'm going to be rooting for Athena. And I'm going to be rooting for, I don't remember the other girl that I forgot.
Did you say Pythia?
Pythia. I'm rooting for Pythia as well.
There you go. I'm
rooting for all 8 of them. I don't care who wins. I'm happy.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at.
Happy with whoever wins, but realistically, I think I know who the top 4 is going to be, and it's going to be Vanity, Gala, Soa, and Tessa. I don't know who else. Tessa.
I'm going to say Tessa. I'm going to say Tessa.
Yeah, I think.
And when she wins next week, Tessa will take home 42,860 Swiss francs. So. Period. But we're going to go ahead and leave off. Thank you so much for joining us for this global recap. Let us know all your thoughts down in the comments below. And make sure to check out our Look Over Here episode where we are diving into the looks from this episode. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share on the way out. Check out the description below where you can find all of our audio podcast links, our other YouTube channels, our Patreon, our social media, and where you can get your merch, including but not limited to cup mug. And with all that being said, we are going to go ahead and get out of here. So, cheers!
Cheers!